myself, yeah. Alrighty. Or we can just let the people start to get in. Yeah. Yeah. Keita, you there with me, my brother?
I hear, bro. I
All
hear.
right. Well, as the people coming in, let me just get started. We want to say a pleasant good evening to everybody yet again for spending the time to come in to the Up Inside Your podcast. Me and your host, Chad Herwood, and I with my boy Keita Moore. Keita, say good night to the people
Good
then.
night, good night, good night. A pleasant good night to
Right.
everybody.
So, you know, this week is going to be a very entertaining week or entangling week. It has been an entangling week, wouldn't you say,
That's how we did
Keita?
it. That's
Yeah,
how
man.
we
I
did it,
think
though.
yeah. You know, he's trying to be a little funny with the little thing in between. But I just want to say a pleasant good evening yet again to everybody. Thank you for coming on to the Up Inside Your podcast.
Big
This
thank
week
you.
we're gonna be talking about entanglement versus entertainment, and I believe a lot of us could have deciphered what it is that we possibly would have been shooting at when we came up with that particular line for the topic. Because what we try to do every week is give you guys a topic that it leaves you thinking, leaves you wondering what it is that we're gonna come with this toss,
For sure.
and hopefully it resonates throughout the week. And then when we get started, we can see where everybody's feelings line up. So we want everybody to get in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how you're feeling. I hope everybody having a good week so far. It's close to the weekend now. One more day, then you don't know weekend time. So Akita, let me jump right into it.
For sure, bro.
Entanglement versus
First,
entertainment.
the
What's your viewpoint on this title?
all right. Now, I will start from the very beginning on why this term entanglement and why this is so prevalent right now, right? Now, this whole story, shenanigan, entertainment, entanglement thing happened about, let's say, a week and a half ago where celebrities, people that are above the quota of regular society have had this misunderstanding about being in a relationship and not being in a relationship and cheating and what's not. No, allegedly, just going allegedly for the time being, right? August Alsina, okay singer, not a very well known singer, but
not a very prolific person.
I won't say he's prolific, but he's been on a few popular songs. Who was a friend of the Smiths' children. This was being Willow. She's one of the Smiths' children. I guess they're the same age group. Has had a entanglement with Jada Pinkett Smith, the wife of Will Smith. You know,
the legend,
Fresh Prince of this, the Fresh Prince of Despair. I mean Bel Air. So this has thrown the whole, I guess, the world off because a lot of people are wondering why all of a sudden that Jada's cheating, and we think that things are all rosy in the Smith family, and what
Rico got me laughing. That's why snickering all the time. Rico got a comment there already that I try my best not. He look. They might bring that into the whole of the next week. But he's saying that was my cartoon kid, man.
Bring that one from far. But yeah, the entertainment aspect of it to me, right, is that there's a whole back and forth about this online talk show. There's a lot going on about America's favorite or Black people's favorite who we grew up on, the Fresh Prince, the Will Smith, Mr. Box Office, you name it. there's a lot going on back and forth about something that I don't think is very important, or I don't think it's very major for people to be going on about it. Like, you know me, I use post jokes all the time, right? But I didn't find like a lot of the jokes or the memes or whatever funny about this whole situation, because I don't think that I don't think this is important. I think it's just a distraction from other things that are going on in society. And to me, this is a public concern.
Right. Okay. Well. To add to what you're saying, the only thing that made me laugh, honestly, was the one when they showed Denzel Washington's, like hitting the table, because the caption was T.A. being vexed because Jada used entanglement before because T.A. well known for using big words, right?
Big words, yeah.
So that was the only one that actually made me laugh. All the other things, I was just like, whatever. But this is my thing, right? You and I are, we big and we heavy on jokes. I think that's naturally who we are. We naturally are jovial, fun-loving people. And especially with the time that is now, the things that are currently going on in our world via COVID, via Black Lives Matter movement, everything that's going on is like, don't get us wrong, because we are the kings of jokes. Nobody can come to me and tell me that we being too serious or what. But right now, this is really and truly not the time to be distracted by this folly, because really and truly, we don't live the lifestyle that they live. Right now, as we talking, right this second, as we here talking to one another, Keaton, we talking to these people. A man just pulled out of another man's wife, and that ain't conversation. Nobody ain't talking about that right now. It's only because of stardom and following and all of their accomplishments in the eyes of society or the world, really, that it got so glorified. And but it feels almost... go ahead.
But the thing is, what they said, right? This is all, to me, this is all a publicity stunt. Like, all right, look at this way, right? Anything something like this
publicity stunt for what, though?
Right, anything saying like this happens, there's always some sort of underlying factor. So maybe Jada's Red Table Talk wasn't getting enough ratings. They had to do something to get the ratings up.
August, you know what's funny? He dropped a CD. He dropped an album
in June. And it wasn't getting traction that they wanted. And bam, this happened. You know what I mean? Sex itself. Right. So, like anything sexual or anything out of the norm like this would sell. And this bring the right controversy for him to get popularity and for people to view and see where he talked about this on his album. What else he talked about on his album? And that's what it is. Nobody is checking for all this else,
So it's basically creating a buzz. It's really creating a buzz to get people dialed into whatever it is that they currently have going on in their lives. That's the line that you believe it is.
From two actors and from actor to actress, whatever you want to call it, because I ain't buying that BS that people telling me. I know this is all a plan. Let me first time like this happened, Chad.
Well, I was just about to say, the truth is, when I watch a snippet of the situation, because really and truly I like to practice what I preach. The fact of the matter is that I am a part of a show, and in order to be a part of a show, you have to be tuned into what's going on in the world. But I don't have to glorify it. I don't have to continue it. I don't have to support it. I don't have to pass it on. I don't have to be a part of it. So I watched just the little snippets that were coming out online, because I was not subjecting myself to sit down and watch that entire talk. And a part of me felt that a lot of this is fake. But that's just me. I can't speak for anybody else. This is me talking for me. I felt as if the entire situation was staged. But let me be honest, both of them are great actors. That's what they're known for. So you just gotta ask yourself, where does Jada take off the actress hat when she's no longer in front of the camera? Does Will do the same? How do you step away from them things when we know that, like, for example, Heath Ledger lost his life because it said, like he was taking drugs to get the mimic for the Joker in terms of the facial expressions, the twitches, all of that stuff. It really and truly becomes a part of your life. So you can't take away All right, today I can be Will Smith that was from Philadelphia. You know, you constantly in
Born
that
and
road
raised
management thing,
in
right?
the
Born and
where
raised,
you spend
where you
most of your
spent
day.
most of my days there.
Chilling
But
out,
I
relaxing.
just
Yeah, I get you.
so I just don't subscribe to any of it. I don't give it power. I don't give it movement. I don't give it momentum. I don't give it nothing. You know what I was more tuned into? The things that they don't want us to see. You know what they don't want us to see? So we gotta go and see it. You know, we always talking about there, you know?
That
And
DJ Khaled.
I would ask how many people knew about the Nick Cannon situation with you know, him losing
His
his
job.
position with Viacom CBS. You know, because that is and you know who was the first person that posted something when I saw that? Our boy Carlos Miller. Because all of a sudden
Yeah.
now everybody was reposting the issue between Jada and Will. Jada and Will. August Jada and Will Jada and August. But there's media
Or
silence
as
right
they
now
call him,
when it
Augie. They
comes
call
to
him
Nick
Augie.
Cannon. Oh, but I don't even know that.
Og.
But right,
Whatever.
but basically there's media silence with black people in good positions, in high standing positions in the field of TV coming out to support Nick Cannon in the fact that he's trying to educate his people in the
Correct.
manner he's doing it. So it goes to show you the situation. Oh, right. And Titus, good night, Titus. Big up yourself. He's saying that it was about anti-Semitism, and I actually started to do some research on that stuff and try to understand what it was about. And basically, when I watched the interview between him and Professor Griff, I heard absolutely nothing that was one, incorrect, two, racist or separatist, divisive, none of the sort. So it
Okay.
goes to show you that people love to flex political and influential power to show you can't talk to us in this manner. You can't elevate you people. You know, and there was so many points in that interview that I enjoyed thoroughly, and I wrote it down. But I was like, nah, we can end up back on the same topics that we would have been on before. But I would encourage everybody to go to YouTube and watch that episode of Canon. It's called what? Canon Talks. I think it's called Canon Talks. Canon Talks. Professor Griff and Nick Cannon. Watch that and listen carefully to what is being said. And it should, if you really tuned in and you listening to what's going on, it is going to resonate within your spirit. For sure, for sure.
I started following it recently too, with the whole Nick Cannon thing, because I'm a big fan of the show. Well, I know along with other persons that he's empowered throughout life, right? Because a lot of people look at the negative impact of Nick Cannon and so on, but that's actually a real positive story he has. And going back to this whole story with Jada and Will and August and this publicity stunt, this cry for attention, it just showed me that this would the world keep going in a circle because it is just bullshit masking bullshit. That's what it's right to me. You're doing all this for what will come for album sales, to remain popular. Like, all right, the whole premise of this has no. I mean, it might, for some people, it might be a little more, it might be hitting on their morals, right? But for instance, like, Will and Jada were separated for apparently past 4 years. And this happened while they were separated. So why is this an issue? Why is this a need to come
conversation?
To the media and speak to, why do we need to come and speak to the media about this?
Right.
I could tell during their interview or whatever that, all right, this is clearly a show they're playing on, because Will saying down initially the posture of someone that looked defeated or worried, and then the wording of the actual conversation was too well thought out. And I knew that this was rehearsed, because it was like, he was like, we were separated and they kicked you to the curb and this and that, 34th, and then this happened. So why is this media? Like, this remind me, they try to remind me of the whole Jay-Z Solange elevator thing, where Jay-Z and Solange in the elevator with Beyonce, and all this went down, and they had this fight and what's not. And just around the same time, bam, Solange tried the album that was dropping, Beyonce was about to go on tour. All this is just be, all the media is just be linked just for this purpose, to attract and draw awareness of something that's going on, to assist your album sales. Just the same as the old rappers is beefing, they got album coming out or something big happening.
Right.
Is it something?
It's a promotion something.
Yeah.
But let me speak on based on what you're saying, which is a very valid point. Would you say then that it negatively impacts the society or the world surrounding these topics? Because let me be clear, there has got people out there that is be ready to fight tooth and nail for their opinions over what happened and what is right and who should be supporting who and women this and men that, and I comparing all kind of foolishness. Like I have sat down over that week when you spoke about everything taken off, and I saw so many paragraphs dedicated to this bullshit, dog. I was like, wait, this has overtaken the same rhetoric that I am constantly posting. Let's support black business. Let's post about a black business every day. Let's support our local people. Let's talk about the fact that America got this and that going on. Let me talk about the fact that the murderers of Breonna Taylor have not been arrested, charged, nothing. And when I'm writing whole paragraphs over people that don't even know that want to exist from a glob of cow shit, dog. Like that's really and truly how one of the spend one of the thing.
That's the reality of it.
I mean it is completely mind-boggling. But the subliminal programming behind these things, right? Because you see now people is trying to tailor the lives according to these people's lifestyle, which is completely and utterly impossible. Because if I want to bring out a perfect example. You remember when there was a whole fiasco too of Future, Sierra, and Russell, when they was talking about the fight about guardianship and thing over the little boy. My thing is, right, a lot of women were posting, oh, this is how black men need to treat a black woman. When Russell flew her to Italy for pasta. I was like, so who gonna carry you Italy for pasta, fam? Like what? Why are you trying to keep up with these people's lifestyle and what it is that they do from what they do and try to apply it to your actual real life? Like I feel what you should do is think about just going into PriceSmart and let me get the boxes of the rotini and penne pasta and let me eat that. You understand? And just let me cool myself. That is not our life. You understand?
Yeah. And it's getting worse because people actually feel that this is attainable. Like I ain't saying that nobody got goals and dreams on what's not right, but at the moment staying laying down, like this ain't what your life is like. Tomorrow you ain't gonna wake up and have conversations with Will Smith enough that you saw a big opinion that you have of Will Smith and Jada and all this. You're gonna wake up tomorrow and have that conversation with your friends or your close friends, right? In the same format that they're with. Like these things that staged and that got everybody opinionated about this and that, and it really ain't worth it, Chad.
Wait, you hear that? You hear that just now? Another man just pulled out to another man's wife, and we ain't talking about it.
So we did there. We ain't talking about that.
You know what I'm saying? Because it
happened against them. And it happened against them then. The thing is, right? We got issues locally that even that we should be worrying about. Even like cyberbullying, like that little boy that the bully, all these little things that we could be talking about or we raising awareness of, right? But we so focus on this entanglement because it's a fancy word that everybody want to talk about now, right? Entanglement. So wait, what we doing as a society now about, for instance, things opening back? Do we even know what the numbers of the coronavirus locally look like at the moment? Like,
right, since the borders reopen.
Correct.
Right.
We don't know how much people coming on these flights. We only know Adrian coming, but we don't know who come in the actual American Airlines, the Air Canada flight. We don't know who come in, who really come in, and who got it, and who isolated. What challenges they had. Because we ain't care what that, because we got entertainment. Keep distracting us.
That's very true. That's very true.
Keep distracting us, and we will not care about the reality of how significant things are around us. So that's it. And I ain't somebody that can sit down here and say that I walk and I think about the Black Lives Matter movement 24/7, and I think about racism all the time. But I ain't gonna sit down here and say that I look at the deeper sides of everything and slavery and this and that 24/7, and a whole white man trying to make it. I try to make my honest dollar. I start my little family. I live my life. That's what I trying to do. I ain't that person. I think I will.
Right.
But
right.
at the same time, you go annoying people feeding you bullshit.
Right. But you know, there was something also that I wanted to add to what you said, and I was always wondering why their mistakes are so vital to us that we create entire trends online, adding fuel to that flame. And I actually did what a friend of mine told me last week. She told me she's very heavy into research, and she told me the best way to find out things is just talk to random people, ask them a question, and record their answers. And that way, you're not speaking from a place of opinion, but you will actually be speaking from a place of fact. Because I asked random people, how you feel about this whole Will and Jada thing? They would give me their point. Some people would say, I don't really care. Some people would say, oh, well, they wasn't together, so she ain't do nothing wrong, and she don't understand why it's such a big deal. Then other people were like, oh, that's bare foolishness. She shouldn't do that. He's a little boy to she, da-da-da-da-da. And they bring the whole rhetoric, too, of like, if it was Will who had some little girl, it would be a completely different conversation. Because that we all know about that. We know that when it comes to women with certain situations like that, it is cool for the younger boy, to be with an older woman, but it's not very cool for a very younger woman to be with an older man. We know all these things. Right. But what I did, the purpose of that conversation or those conversations with people were to find out why they felt so drawn to be involved in the dispute, in the conversation, in the fanaticism. And the people that were caught up in it, like really caught up in it, and I asked them, okay, so why do you think that you're so involved in this conversation? You know that they literally did not know why. I asked other people now who didn't care. So why is that you're caught up in the hype and thing? I got too much things on my plate. My life is too busy. I don't have time to get caught up in things that have nothing to do with me, and so on and so forth. So basically, the people who actually have reasons mattered, and the people who just got all the time in the world were the ones that were all caught up in it and having the most opinions on it. So it seems the old people saying was true. The empty vessels is met the most noise. I hear reading some comments here as
yeah, because even Tyrone just said, I just wrote, share, the best August is the month after July.
Because they don't even know the next one.
Because it's like, all right, we can focus on this. The people kept Breonna Taylor, nobody ain't, there ain't no justice there, Chad.
Right.
But we trying to justify Jada and Will and August. You understand? We probably focus on that because then like, all right, Childish Gambino had the song "This Is America," right?
Uh-huh.
Which continues to show you that America does mask up any drama or any malpractice or anything or any bad doings with songs and dancing or a form of media. And this just showing me that this is just a form of media that masking the bullshit going on around the world.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't all getting on with the corona cases in Miami, but we focus on entanglement.
Oh, no, that you said so. Did you read that there was an alleged incorrect report on the cases? They said that, how they said there was a 98% something like rate in terms of infection rate. They then said, oh, that was incorrect. It's supposed to be 9.8%. How you does misprint a whole 90% though to 9.8%. You see, it's a lot of things that are being hidden within media because they're being reported. Don't get it twisted. Things are still being reported. It is just the fact that people are distracted from what truly matters. The matters that really need to be brought to the forefront are there, but they are hidden amidst all of the foolishness or the entangling that going on. And like you wouldn't believe that within that short space of time, the hashtag entanglement was trending on Twitter, and the call for Breonna Taylor was no longer the trending topic. in that short space of time, when that word hit, from everybody watching the interview. So sometimes I just gotta tell my people we really and truly need to do better. We need to do
We
better
should.
than what we be doing. Like we have to constantly be on code about what it is that's taking place in our lives, in our atmosphere, in our sphere. I just recognize that we need to stop being so easily distracted. It's almost like Dory and what do you picture the name Finding Nemo.
But
It's like,
anymore.
oh, all of a sudden, no, yeah, you looking for this. You're like, oh, wait, what's that there? And boom, I gone across it. I'm looking for Nemo no more. I distracted. That is basically and literally how the black community looks whenever something like this takes flight. Yet again, I got to continually press on the fact that we know the world is serious. We got jokes. We need jokes. We need laughter, especially in these times. But you
Agree.
cannot allow this sort of foolish rhetoric to be
The
the number one
consuming,
trending topic. You
yeah,
can't
the
let that
consuming people.
happen.
The
You
consuming
can't
people,
let it happen.
and the world will get better from this consuming you. Yeah, you gotta know when a joke is funny and when to laugh at a joke and when not to laugh at a joke. Yeah, it had a low run. It was funny for a little bit, but we just making people richer, I guess, from laughing at it over and over and having this buddy do this interview about this and having this buddy do this interview about that. I didn't
Right.
care about nothing, so I tried. I would laugh at it. I laugh at it. I see the memes. I was like, these people overdoing this thing with these memes. Like, these people really believe out for something that he ain't in a situation to be bullied out, because if when they're together, why would this need to be broadcasted to the media, or where you gotta come and clear your name and all that? Nah. So that takes me back to exactly what happened in Barbados with these type of bullying. People, like, you would have bullied that little boy. I really didn't.
Yeah, let me speak on that for a little bit.
Yeah, because
Go ahead.
I don't understand why a simple mistake from a little boy who may have been nervous to be on TV, may have been nervous.
Not may have been. He definitely was nervous. You could tell.
He just do the common entrance. I really wish the boy the best. I wish him all the best. People make mistakes all the time. Everybody ain't grammatically correct every single time. You understand me? Right. Nobody, and people roast the boy to the fact where the boy talk about committing suicide. Like, really?
But let me say this. We all as a people too need to understand how media works. Every time we turn on the TV, we know that media is there. However, the positive messages among media does not exist because positivity goes nowhere. Negativity travels 3 to 4 times as far as a positive message would. It's no different than if I had a really good service situation with a business and I go online and I say, I just had a wonderful experience with Kita's hardware. And one or two people might like that post. But if I go on now and I have a rant about the terrible service that I had at Kita's hardware, that is going to travel a lot further. So what I'm saying about the media is that you see how they said that there was more to the interview than was shown, where that after the boy made the mistake of the grammatical sense, he corrected himself after that, but they did not show that because they know that will carry the situation further, because they can bring the comical aspect out of things, they can bring the bullying aspect into it, and it's going to make that little boy it's going to make him look bad.
But as much as we joke, right? We both know they got some things that you just don't make jokes about, or you just don't mess around with. I mean, I got my limits. I may make a lot of jokes for a lot of different situations. I got my limits of what I make jokes about, or who I make jokes about. Like a boy, an honest, innocent little boy, don't do the comment entrance. He nervous. He on TV having an interview, but want to get bullied. But I'm glad that he has had support, because that's the hardest part, because it's finding support. I'm glad people like the Prime Minister reach out to him. I saw a video with the Prime Minister with him this evening, speaking to him and hugging him and reassuring him that he's gonna be doing good. It's the popular individuals like DJ Puffy and other people reach out to him. I got him stuff and try to make him feel better about himself, because back to a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about mental health, I know as a child your mind is all over the place. And at that age, 10, 11, you don't know what to think when the whole world, and especially in this social media era, going against you.
Right. So it's not hard to
I don't know, but I
believe he would have felt that way, because let me be clear, and I can't remember if we had this conversation before. I don't know if we had this conversation before, but when people, the reason that they felt like they feel like they want to take their own life, I don't go into a mode of, you will take your life over saying that foolish, because I'm not the person in their shoes. Until the day that you have gotten to a place where something drags you all the way down and you feel suffocated, you feel stifled, you feel as if there's nothing you can do, there's nowhere you can go, there's no one you can talk to in order to elevate yourself from that ground floor situation. You cannot speak against somebody who feels as if they will take their own life just to escape from that situation. As you said, a 10, 11-year-old boy, how could you expect him to feel? How you can expect him to feel?
That little boy could have been under so much pressure, child. Like, this is the first year that the common entrance was this weird, where obviously the hard COVID that impact your time at school, and then there was the whole transition to doing school from home, which to some children right now isn't even the easiest. To put it that way, they still got a learning curve, I guess, for the whole system, right? But it's like you learning from home, then you go back to school near the end of it, right? And then it's like, all right, I back at school, I trying to learn, I trying to get to the common entrance there to have this ceremony knowledge. I got all this pressure on my back because this is a totally different understanding of schoolwork than what I would have been accustomed to. I finally get through the exam. I pass it. I got through with it. I feel relief, and then you gotta put somebody back under this pressure. But I thought there's got a lot going on too. So don't ever think that because people say, man, he won't sleep in, man, he ain't got nothing to worry about. I got the bills to worry about, blah blah blah. But Chuck got a lot on his shoulder. Common entrance was a serious exam for me. I took it real serious at my age, and my parents made me know how serious it is. It ain't got anything to do with exactly school that you're going to or what's not, but it's a good idea or assessment of where you are at mentally.
Right. So I could also add to that to say from my experience, I can't really say that I took it too seriously. I do know that it was a serious exam, but my mindset was that I was gonna go into it, do the best of my ability, and leave it all there. And that's what I tried when I reached out to people who I know personally that their children were about to embark on it, because my daughter did it so many years ago now that I can remember the feeling of nervousness, not knowing what to tell your child to calm them down. Because another thing too, we gotta recognize everybody does not do well in exam environment. So you might be a person that will perform really well during class time, during homework, and then when you're sitting down to do a test where you know that everything writing on this, sometimes you could put yourself under so much pressure that you really don't even know what to do.
That's me to a T. Like, I could do class work, SBAs, all that stuff real good. But see, when it comes to saying no for an exam or whatever, you put yourself in positions where you're pressured. And be like, you know this word, but you still don't know this word at the time. And that's kind of messed up thing because your anxieties take over. So you never know. But I just don't find the way that social media is really how to treat the little boy. But you're right there. I mean, I offer a good laugh or whatever, right? But I didn't find
I watch the news that night. Kija. I have sat on many an occasion and watched news going on. Like, let me say whatever happening in Barbados, like they got a situation with the market vendors being moved, or you remember when they were supposed to move from in front of the Fairchild Street bus terminal, or whenever any situation going on, because I don't want to use the market vendors as the only example, but anytime the media speaks to the open public about anything, you could tell that person is trying to speak standard English and trying not to make mistakes. And the more that you try to focus on not making a mistake, the more often you are going to make a mistake. And Doug, even our politicians, we could see that them don't write majority of these statements that them is be reading anyway, because when you write a statement yourself, you just know what you write down, because I got my notes here. I wrote my notes. So I know, all right, this, that, this. But, and I could speak to it and elaborate on it from without looking directly at my paper. And a lot of these people that still be out there, so, biting hot potato when they're using certain words and so on and so forth. So I don't see where the media and where society as a whole gets off on making sport a little boy in that manner, because I sat down there and I watched it and I was listening to these children speak and I was like, okay. The exam wasn't that bad, it wasn't this. But the big people will be out there talking, and like if a fire happened and people talk to residents be talking bare foolishness too. So it's like, and these don't become a media circus. So it was just silly to me. And I think the only reason why a lot of people started to backpedal from making sport at the boy is the fact that more conversations were coming out about, we don't see why it is that big hardback people forwarding this foolishness and making sport out of little boy. That's the only reason why people pull back. Because if not, that would still be going on. People still be making sport out of that youngster. You understand me? People that if you put them under the media spotlight, they're running from it and they can't control themselves.
But child, know if it was in your day when you did the common entrance. I mean, back then we didn't have social media, like, no, but how would you have interacted with your family after that, or how would you have felt after making a mistake like that in an interview? Because for me, like, I wouldn't have taken it that seriously. I wouldn't have taken it that seriously to the point where it gets to this stage. But obviously, because of social media's presence and they getting back and getting around, this boy's reaction to finishing the common entrance should be relief. Let me enjoy the next couple of weeks. Right. Let me relax myself. I'm about to get a nice long vacation before school starts back in September. Let me relax myself. But instead of him being happy and be able to enjoy himself, he gotta go through this. He gotta go through that. He gotta go through all this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what can we do? That's a terrific question. How did you feel? How would you have felt if you were in that situation?
Are we speaking about with social media presence, or how would you feel actually when I did it and there was no social media presence?
Before social media.
Okay. Well, I can tell you the truth. When I did the exam, I remember walking out of Allen School, now having done the first paper. I told my mother, get something to eat, relax myself. She talked to me, tell me, just pace yourself and try to answer each question. If you're taking too long, move on and come back. That's what I was told, and that's what I did. And when that exam was over and my paper was handed out and I walked outside and I was walking towards my mother, oh man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I honestly let go of food, because it was like I felt like all of the pressure that was built up inside of me just let go. I was like, yeah. And I went home, I played games, I chilled, but that's back in the day when you could have run around and everybody outside and be playing sports outside and thing. And the only time the pressure really came back to me was the day when we walked into the class at class 4 and we heard the exam results here. And everybody had to sit down and wait for their name to be called to hear what school you passed for. That was it.
Facts.
That was it. And that was when the pressure started to rebuild and you brain like, all right, it really coming now. The truth coming to me now. What is I do? Where am I going? And then when I heard, my result and everything, I was happy. I was at peace. I was like, all right, new journey. Let me do this here. And that was it. There was no pressure behind anything.
I just feel hot air though. You don't think that it was.
But it's only obvious that I had air because I had a hole in that thing. I could have feel like my abs and thing did. Well, I don't know if they had abs back then, but I mean, I could have feel the pressure within me because I don't like tests either. I don't like tests because I know that the so like finite is like this is it. So like when in school, when you had the SBAs and thing, I used to do pretty good in them because I like to know that I'm going into an exam without too much pressure on my back. So that's what I had to do back in that time.
Your summer was in an entanglement?
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty much in an entanglement. And I released that entanglement, and I just feel like if I did born again, well, man. So, I mean, I just think about a lot of the things in terms of what we enjoyed as youngsters, and the fact that we enjoyed them because we did not have social media to distract us from enjoying
Living
them.
life. Enjoying life.
Right? And living life for real. So,
And that ties right back to the whole social media thing, because everything has got pros and it cons. So I ever try to
I know reading what request.
I ever try to read the comments, because everybody here trying to figure out if you don't want electricity or if you don't want a little bit
broccoli stomach. Yeah.
But it take back to initially what the impact of social media is and the good and bad of social media, because everything has got pros and cons. And for instance, 10 years ago or even 15 years ago, this whole entanglement thing would not have been what it was because of social media, right? Wait for a bit. Yeah, it happened again.
Yeah, somebody just get polluted. Somebody was just get polluted, big man.
So it just will. So Will is not the only person our wife is get polluted.
You understand? And sometimes some of them don't have gotten the decency to pollute. So I mean, that's even more disrespectful. That's even more disrespectful, brother. But I want we to go back to that issue with the Saint Will and Jada situation, right? No, I just feel like I like to watch series and documentaries and a lot of things. I like remember pulling knowledge from previous pictures. I would watch series, sitcoms, whatever you want to call them, and them has always got these unrealistic grand gestures that just happen in these things. You know, like men holding up a radio outside of a woman house and blaring music, or like she and this guy meet for the first time. The guy would talk a good game and ask for she number, and she'll be like, "Oh, if you see me again, you could get my number." I mean, like what? That's another one, and that happened to me before as well. And you know, obviously there was a lot more to it than that, but I don't want to get into all of that. And then the other thing that always used to freak me out, he and the girl would have a conversation the night before. They would argue, they would disagree, they would, walk away from one another. And then the day just come, this man is be at work. I don't know what kind of job he got, but he left in work. He would be at work working, and they quit. So he think about the girl and what he should do. And my man is just pick up and left the people office. He don't sign out. He don't tell nobody where he going. And he just shoot cross town, going to run through an airport, buy a ticket. I don't know where he get this money from to go and buy a ticket last minute, because I know if you don't buy your ticket early, your flight gonna be real expensive. And then you're gonna run through the gates and all kind of thing, and you're gonna meet she on the tarmac, and you're gonna express this big, undying, everlasting love. And then she just don't get on the flight no more. I don't watch Friends though. I don't watch Friends.
It's an episode of Friends already.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, I just see these things as constant reminders as to why we need to stay in our own lanes, because these things are unrealistic. It will not happen in this life or this world or this world that we live in, which is the poor man world. So it's like, why are we so caught up on these people? And I think I saw Rico saying it, Titus saying it. I think I see Janelle Bruce saying it as well, which she backwards spelling the name. They were saying basically that, but she named spelled backwards. So I even see Rico talk about Elenage, man, what? But anyhow, the situation is that people want to be distracted from their real life, and that's why sometimes they get so caught up and encompassed with other people's lives, these celebrity lives, and it is very distressing, the manner in which people take on these things, because it's almost like they want to be a part of the matrix, for lack of I think that's the best term I could do. They don't want their real life, right? I just feel like, go ahead.
I mean, it's evident. I mean, like, for instance, like, we ain't focusing on what impactful to us right now, but we focusing on this, and that's like, I still can't get past that. Like, wait, what is the significant focus on this? Why is this tearing up social media? Why black people still getting shoot, still getting arrested? The video sent me yesterday.
Yeah,
the man getting pulled over in his car. He recording it. The police ain't care. The man reaching his car, unbuckle his seatbelt, and pull your car. Like,
and obviously, you know, there was rough with he. Do you know that you could hear from the man tone of voice of how they was getting on, and the policeman up in the mafia talking about, oh, you don't want to do this today. I is a specimen. I is this. I like, dog. Let me tell you something, right? You see, that sort of things, it just hit me so different as a black man, because I look at that guy or that person, that individual, that family that is being accosted in that manner, and the only difference between them and me is my location. That's literally it. I got the same color skin as he. I got the same type of look as him. And I know that if the situation was reversed, that could have been me in my car going about my business, being pulled over by as Tariq Nasheed is calling them, race soldiers, and all of that, and injustice happening to me. You know what I'm saying?
But that ain't gonna get the attention that it should on social media, because we got other things to be entangled with, right? So that is why we ain't gonna see that, or for instance, in that kind of thing again, as much attention as it should, right? Because that whole kind of situation is bogus. Yeah, and I hope that people see that as an opportunity to boycott these people. You understand me? I hope people boycott these. I don't know if it goes as far as MTV or the actual group, but I hope that whatever Nick Cannon does next in his life is a actual structured decision, especially when it comes to Well No or any show that he hosts.
But that's just the thing.
Go to a black network and go from there, because it's like you see how these people clearly treating you. Right. For speaking facts.
Right.
The issue.
And it comes down to the other thing that I mentioned before in our first episode regarding the Black Lives Matter movement and the type of racism that we deal with in the Caribbean. The fact of the matter is that people who practice racism seem to get a pass, and people who speak about being oppressed by racism are the ones that are in the wrong. Like, it don't make no sense to me. You're speaking truths. You're speaking facts. You're speaking actual, knowledgeable, provable fact. And yet you are being victimized. You are being the person that you wrong for saying such a thing. How dare you say that? Like, where these people just get off on that shit, when it is that Nick Cannon would have been bringing, I mean, billions of dollars to their entire network, because MTV and VH1 and them under the umbrella of CBS, and he has had a show. The Wild and Out show has basically gone over a decade, right? Yeah, and it gone over a decade where that he was using his platform to bring up a lot of young artists, a lot of young comedians and women who influential in the culture. I mean, truth be told, what you're saying is true. We need our own networks and stuff like that. Like, I remember P. Diddy.
I sure the fault with P. Diddy that got revoked, and people like Tyler Perry, these are people need to come together and start going. I know BTM black one. We know that for good well no. It's sad that we gonna sell out we blackness for money, right? But we really need to come together as black people and do better. We do.
But the thing is, the other thing too, Keita, is why is it that every single time we hear of a black billionaire, right next to him is a white man who seems to be, if not on the same playing field level above him. Like this guy, I heard names coming up, when I was younger, and remembering hearing people like Dame Dash, and I really like Dame Dash, Dame Dash Dame Dash's way of being can come across as abrasive, don't
It's
care
very
and all
aggressive.
that crap. But let me tell you something. I enjoy listening to that man. I guess real does recognize real because between us maybe having conversations outside of up inside here, you don't know that I fairly abrasive myself. I don't pull
Yeah.
punches for nobody. Because let me share a situation with you that took place Monday. I went to an area called Darrow's Road in
Yeah.
Christchurch. And I turned through one of those gaps in Darrow's Road that's called Nelson Road or something like that. First of all, that won't changing. But by near Nelson Road,
Yeah.
and I gone through there because I was going to osteopathic treatment. So I looking for the direction, I looking at what going on. I found the place, I get out to the car, and then I noticed I had a flat tire. You understand? All right. I called for my roadside assistance call. My spare was no good. All right. So I called the roadside assistance. I was outside talking with them. Fortunately, I got there early enough that I could have spent time outside talking to the people and trying to sort out my situation before I had my treatment. But because this area is a white neighborhood, I saw people looking out their windows. There was a guy who was outside of a truck, and I think he was talking to neighbors or something, and they're looking at me, and Chad, that I turn my phone, I turn my head and I look at he like this, and I talking to the people because as I tall, black,
And you
got
got lost.
dreadlocks, got tattoos, you don't know what they're telling themselves. This all look like a robbery.
You was a
I ain't come to
criminal.
do the business. I ain't come to
You're
do
a
the business.
criminal. You are a
So
criminal.
yeah, so I went down, right? I look at all these things and I say, why is it that these people that will go through the system, go through the ranks, go through the hardships, become millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, and then they don't try to branch off and do their own thing. They're still under the umbrella of somebody that does not look like them. Like when I think about that name, Jimmy Iovine,
Yeah.
I used to look at that man. I used to see that there's nothing black culture related about that man. How are you one of the most influential names in the history of hip hop? How
Yeah.
can it be? You do not represent anything black, but you hold the highest possible office within the music industry.
Mm.
It is perplexed me, dog. I don't mind people having to do what they have to do. And I even saw a situation about Nick Cannon apologizing or something like that. I don't know if it's 100% true, but I gotta double check it. But
No,
my
I
thing
saw
is, right?
he apologized to his fans and the people, but he didn't apologize to the
Oh,
network. He didn't apologize to the network.
brilliant,
I saw
brilliant,
it too.
brilliant.
I saw
But
it
my
too.
thing is, what we gotta do, right? Is a game that we all play. This is a game. And in order to win, you gotta play by the rules. And then when you get to the point that you could change the rules, you gotta change the rules. There's
But
no
Chad,
reason why no artist at this point in time should be under any kind of label situation where that white people so controlling their music and how we get out to the people. There's no reason for it anymore. I could understand it every
but
time.
this is the rules. This is the rules to the game, Chad. And just like how this whole situation, but we about to square one with Will and Jada and August. It's all a publicity stunt for August's album because August is apparently supposed to be a troubled child who had a heart condition.
Right.
Who is Willow's friend, so is Jada's
Right.
daughter's
Let me get
friend.
my violin. Wait. Stop talking. Let me get my violin. And while you talk about August and he problems, I can play it. Go ahead.
Right. So August is this troubled child who has a heart condition that Will and Jada bring in, into their family, who had this lust for Jada for anything. He was a child growing up, and an opportunity presented itself, and one thing led to the next. You understand? And it's sad. It's sad. I mean, it's sad that we gain this much attention. It's sad society gaining this much attention. It don't deserve attention. It really doesn't. I don't care about August being this troubled child. August out there dropping albums that no one knows of. But we need publicity, so let me create a scandal. Let me do this. Let me do that.
Listen, we ain't really worried about them there so no more. Oh shoot, somebody just get pulled out there. Anyhow, the fact of the matter, yeah, the fact of the matter is this, right? I want you to tell me no, cause you know what Up Inside You is all about. We ain't only about constantly pointing fingers at issues. It's about offering solutions and paths to solutions. So tell me what you believe is the proper way forward to get away from situations of entanglement. Let me have some fun with the entertainment, but always keep we minds focused on what matters most to us in order for us to move forward.
We gotta keep our eyes open. I know we really wish we had more time to talk about it. You know what I mean? I know our time is about to be up. You know, time getting bony and what's not. And for everyone in the actual conversation on Instagram, feel free to let us know what you would like us to talk about in the future going forward. If you want to hear more about COVID, if you want to hear more about the role that society or the white man, the white power is oppressing our people, let us know what you want us to talk about going forward. Classism in Barbados, cyberbullying, anything going forward for our next episode.
Yeah, man. So for me, what I want to say is, as usual, people, we gotta keep our eyes on the prize. We gotta keep focused. Like I said, between Keita and myself, then nobody combine that like more jokes, more fun, more entertainment than us. But the message does not get lost in translation because we might have eased off a little bit to make a little joke or to entertain people. Because as I said, in this time, it is necessary for us to be laughing. It's necessary for us to have fun. It's necessary for us to just dial back from all of the negativity that out there in the world right now. But we need to keep...
I wish that was the reason why this was entertaining us. But this has different ulterior motives.
Right.
This is not.
Right.
This is not.
This ain't there for the progression of us.
Exactly.
Ain't there for the progression of we. This is all about them and whatever it is that, you know, you never know. Like, we could even go full conspiracy theorists and mention that they could be doing it just to, you know, to stop the movement of the Black Lives Matter and to disrupt whatever it is that is happening over there in America right now.
You know what?
So,
you know what? Because time is so limited, we can probably save that for another episode. But I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight.
Man, thank you again, people. I appreciate it.
We really appreciate y'all coming to the Up Inside Your podcast. We really appreciate the interaction from every single one of us. Feel free to visit us on IG at Up Inside You. We also have a YouTube channel.
Right, share that with your friends.
On YouTube. Feel free to subscribe and enable notifications. And we also have Anchor FM, which is an online streaming audio version of the podcast. You can also find us Up Inside You. We will be posting the links. I'll send out the links individually to anybody on my WhatsApp or anybody on the IG. I'll post a link to my page for the link tree that we created that has all of our platforms. But feel free to subscribe. And we'll be right back with you guys next week with more content. I know Chad has a lot more to say from listening.
You know that the conversation was never done, but we gotta bring it to a close yet again. Subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends because I know everybody can't find the time to get on the live. Share it with your friends, watch the episodes, give us feedback. We need the feedback. We love the feedback. Get on the link tree via the Instagram page as well, and log on to everything. You like to drive with your podcast, drive with us and listen to what we're saying. Remember, feedback. And just like that, somebody just get pulled over.
Again.
Yeah.
So it's not just Will and Jada.
Nah, apparently not. But yet again, we love when the people give thanks. Thank you for coming in. We ain't going no further with that. We love when thank you so much for spending the time with us. Have a good night, people.